We are live where we are and whenever you listen. This is the Open Tabs podcast. Hey, whenever you listen, it's live. The Open Tabs podcast featuring my mainest man, Joe Carlos, and myself,
up,
Calvin Smith. I'm wonderful, man. Hey, look, before we go another further, the man who I get most of my mannerisms and everything else from.
Yeah, please.
C. Miles.
Yes.
C. Miles Smith Jr., aka Ralph from Ben Hill, my father, the Minister of Information, and the what yearbook was that? Like
the Minister of Affairs.
Minister of Affairs. Minister of Affairs.
1970 yearbook.
1970 Morehouse yearbook. The 8 dog on the trifling 35.
Still one of the greatest line names names of a line ever.
Yeah, man. The show dog. This a wonderful man who met a young woman as a senior at Morehouse when he was helping young freshmen move in, and met a young woman from Meridian, Mississippi. And
what a tradition.
What a tradition.
A tradition like none other.
Like, hey man, it was probably windy that day and everything, man. You know.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And out of that, this guy here was born. So thank you, Dad. Love you. We had a wonderful he is in a nursing home, so we did a Google Duo, as it were, and had lots of people pop in and say hey to him, and so had a good day. So happy 71st birthday.
Happy birthday, C. Miles. Happy birthday. In your honor, I'm just gonna say the Gray Ghost.
Hey, you know about that?
Hey, I was on the hill. I listened. When your daddy, let me tell you something. I've spent time with your dad a couple of times, and every time he talks, I shut up and I just listen. I just shut up and listen. Okay.
Hey man,
the Gray Ghost. That's all I'm saying. Shout out.
Indeed.
Shout out.
Indeed. Shout out. Indeed.
Yes. Shout out to all the 70s Morehouse brothers, by the way. Shout out to the brothers from the 70s. God bless you guys. I don't know how you did it. It's
different
probably
time.
One of our worst conditions of the entire time there. I don't know how y'all made it out. I really don't know how y'all made it out. And then went on to have productive lives.
Right. I mean, we got senators and
there's a lot. Look, a lot of greatness came out of that time period. And if you could go through that crucible,
that crucible, I love it.
I figure I'd put crucible in there in the first couple of minutes. If you could go through that crucible, and then obviously you could do anything. So first of all, happy birthday, of course, to Big C. Miles, and thank you for your 3 grains of eternal sand, and the greatness that they have. That they continue to create and inspire throughout the world.
So we postponed today. Joe's just a little bit healthier. Joe's a little bit healthier.
Hey man, it was weird. I don't know if it was. I felt fine when I got the second test. Second shot. Mm-hmm. I felt fine when I got the second shot, and I was cool. Arm was sore a little bit. I mean, right now it feels like someone punched me yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was Wednesday. Mm-hmm. I woke up I don't know what day it was. I woke up Thursday, did all the things I normally do, get my daughter ready for school. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a meeting till 10. Mm-hmm. So I got her ready for school, then checked all emails and said, I'm going to just get, 20 winks here, 20 minutes. I took a nap before my 10 o'clock. Uh-huh. I got up. And I couldn't see. Like everything was fuzzy. Yeah. And I mean, I could not focus on small things. And I was terrified. Yeah. I was absolutely terrified. Yeah. I had called an ophthalmologist incorrectly. I had called an ophthalmologist because growing up in Dallas, we only went to Black doctors.
Right.
Other than now, except for our pediatrician, he was not a Black doctor. Dr. Keith Robbins, the great Dr. Keith Robbins.
Okay.
That's where you would read highlights and read about
Nice.
Goofus and
Yeah,
Gallant.
Goofus and Gallant. That's right.
And you would read the highlights, and they would be like where sick kids touched it. So everything. So you'd only be more sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
After you left,
We're slowly learning about sanitation even now.
I'm sorry, I think about that every time. Like they had toys. Like,
oh yeah,
sick kids are here. Like we're touching all this
snotting all over everything, man. Yeah.
Bathroom just destroyed. Anyway, very different now at Peachtree Park Pediatrics, where my daughter goes to school. Very, very different now. Shout out to Dr. Anna Coe at Peachtree Park Pediatrics on West Paces Ferry.
Of course.
In Buckhead. So anyway, we shout out to Steak Shapiro. If you listen to Atlanta radio, that's how he says Buckhead for some reason. Anyway, went to black doctors, and we went to an ophthalmologist named James Gray. So I presumed I needed an ophthalmologist. So I'm looking up ophthalmologists. Didn't know that they are usually only a referral after an optometrist.
Oh yeah.
In many cases.
Yeah.
And so I asked for a referral. I get a referral. I call the place, and the lady's like, "Well, he only does referrals. So you got to get a referral from your eye doctor." I'm like, "Well, he is an eye doctor." So my wife, Lakeitha, says, "Well, let me look up ophthalmologist." And I was like, "Okay, I'm not there." Once we look up what an ophthalmologist, and I know you know this, being the fine physician you are, I'm not there. So I could have just lens crafted it or Warby Parkered it and called it a day. And then if I needed to, gotten the referral. But then just I could have gone anywhere to get the eye test and then get some daggone glasses in a couple of days or an hour or whatever. Yeah. Didn't realize that at all. So I got a referral. I got a couple referrals. But I'm going to hit up when I get back from spring break. I'm going to go to this spot, at least Ansley Optical. My main man, Sam Beresford, my classmate, suggested. Yes. Yeah. So Dr. Dina over there. So I'm going to go check them out. But I was trying to go to a black ophthalmologist, and little did I know that it was all.
Some of my colleagues don't know the difference, Joe. So you're okay. Trust me.
I understand, but I was trying to do that, but yeah, it scared me. So the first problem was the eye. So I was terrified, and then it eventually went away. Yeah. But I was like, is this a side effect? I've never taken anything really and had a side effect before. Yeah. And so when I got shots to go to Ghana, I think I got like 9 or 10 shots. Yeah. I was out cold like for a day. I mean, after 9 or 10 shots in either arm. Yeah. It's reasonable. It's reasonable that it's gonna. Yeah,
you're gonna need to recover. Yeah.
It's reasonable to expect some type of a recovery time. But then later, so I was fine. I did my thing. I was good. And then at some point, we had sushi, and as soon I started getting cold. Mm-hmm. I was getting cold. I was like uncontrollably cold. Yep. And I ate my sushi, and I was fine while eating my sushi. As soon as I was done, I sat down on the couch and bundled up in a blanket. Yeah. And just was knocked out. Yeah. Sitting next to my daughter. And I'm like, what is going on here? That's when I texted you like, bro, I can't do this today. Yeah. No, so then I slept for like 2 hours. And then I had this amazing burst of energy and did a 45-minute Peloton ride, which was torturous. That guy needs to be brought up on charges, but and I haven't figured out how to stop the ride in the middle of the ride yet. So that's the catch. But no, so yeah, I fortunately, from some of the stories I've heard, mine was mild. Yeah, it was mild, but when it hit me, it hit me all at once. Other than the blurry vision thing, it hit me all at once. I was terrified to go to sleep again because of my eyes. But woke up today fine, and so thank gosh. And good. So and I was watching Casey Undercover with Sage not too long ago, earlier tonight, and fell asleep as I want to do. And eyes are fine. So we are chilling on the rabbit villain.
Good, excellent. And
yes, but thank you. Yes, thank you. Well, I've got a couple of days. We got 2 weeks, right? I mean, but thank you. Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
To the east, my brother.
To the east. Hey,
Yes. Yes.
I'm not gonna say X-Clan.
X-Clan.
My favorite thing. I can't say it no more. It's not appropriate. But
I understand that.
yeah.
You know, you live, you learn. Atlantis, 25 years. Really 26 since Jagged Little Pill. So anyway, I got a couple of regrets, brother.
Speak.
Well, I have one regret.
Speak.
First of all, I want to give it speak. Perfect. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Christian Watchku again.
Man,
for,
please do.
I'm going to start calling him Marathon Man for sitting in with us.
Yes.
And
on our longest episode.
Yes. I mean, a show that has 86 episodes, though.
Oh yeah. We're going 86-hour-long episodes.
Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah. And so and every episode is like a movie.
Yeah.
And so it's imagine just talking about 86 movies that you get to shrink down. Shout out to Morgan State, by the way. That you have to shrink
yes,
down.
The Bears,
yeah. Great logo, by the way. Just great logo, great colors, just cool color scheme and logo. But shout out to Christian for hanging in there and providing some amazing insight.
Absolutely.
The two of you going back and forth about Sopranos is like
the three of us.
Well, let's as a person who was a part of it, the two of you going back, thank you, going back and forth is like just watching a masterclass in something you love. Yeah. So learning more about something you love, and it truly was another level of depth and research. And I as a fan of this show, but as a fan of that show, and as a fan of the two of you, it was nirvana for me. So shout out to Christian, shout out to you, brother, for Thank that. You. Shout out to Reese for trying for a show that he
yeah, man. He doesn't. I mean, like,
yeah, he doesn't. But
like
he tried.
We need to do the Simpsons for him because.
Oh, good gosh, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I can't either. Man.
I'm gonna just be honest. I can't do it.
No.
I can't.
Sorry.
And I don't even know when I could begin the binge on Disney TV, Disney Plus. But that might be a regret calling it Disney TV. But DTV was originally what it was called. Before Disney Channel was DTV. But anyway, back to my regret. My regret is that I forgot probably one of my favorite lines in the whole series, in the whole 86 hours of television, which is 86 episodes, obviously more than 86 hours, but 86 hours of, it might be right around 86 hours actually. 86 hours of television. Yeah. Which was in season 6, A.
or just season 6 as we established.
Yeah, season 6 as we did establish that. In season 6, when there's a sit down between New Jersey and New York, and Carmine Lupertazzi, as only he can do, starts talking using a malaprop, and this was literally a malaprop without it being a malaprop. But he mentions the murder. And it was very fresh. It wasn't. Imagine a friend of yours knowing that this is a very sore subject, and yet bringing it up in front of the person that it's the sorest subject with, in a very tense thing when death is on the line. When death is on the line,
isn't he?
Yeah,
he would have been unhappy there.
Very unhappy. And the line is that he says, the thing last year with your brother, whatever happened there.
Whatever happened there.
And Philly Leotardo just goes off. Whatever happened there? All right, Carmine. Tony's saying, all right, Carmine. Whatever happened there? And he just goes on a rant after that. And then the communication breaks down. It breaks down.
Yeah.
And it was totally avoidable.
Totally.
And he wanted to do it anyway. But my friend JC Love brings that up all the time. The great JC Love brings that up all the time. The Honorable brings that up all the time. And who today performed five weddings today in Montgomery, Alabama, by the way. Yes, 5.
JC Love.
He gets paid
None
per
of them.
wedding, by the way. He gets paid per wedding, by the way.
I would hope so.
Yeah, day of. They run him out. They run him his money that day.
That's awesome. They run him
awesome.
that is awesome.
That day. But anyway, cash
today.
So that was mine. Do you have any regrets from last episode?
I do. It's a pretty big one. We did not talk about the episode that is even though I disagree, the consensus favorite episode of most Sopranos viewers, which is Pine Barrens. I have regrets. Certainly Pine Barrens is an achievement in television. It has some of the better moments in this series. It is not in my top 5, and that was the reason why it's not in my top 10 really. But I recognize that it is a fantastic hour of television. It's what I would consider to be kind of a standalone episode, in that a lot of the things that happen in there don't really have any consequence, and that's maybe one of the reasons why there's looming consequence. We don't know. It hangs over. It's one of the few things that David Chase really does not give a resolution to at all. Although the rumor is that there is actually, he did talk about, I guess he blurted out in an interview, as he is wont to do, about the fact that Valerie, I guess, was found by some Boy Scouts and had to get a metal plate in his head, and yada, 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 and was sent back to Russia. And Slava never really finds out what happens. But nonetheless, it's egregious. We did not talk about it, and it's a pretty big regret, because again, in the zeitgeist, when people talk about The Sopranos, is usually one of the first things they talk about. So to not talk about Pine Barrens and Paulie's horrible behavior, flipping the remote, and trying to get throw Chris under the bus at every opportunity,
and even when it comes back up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the dinner scene later on, with the Russian, he's like, if you hadn't, none of that would have happened if Paulie hadn't mouthed off to him. He's like, then stuff pops off between him and Chris. So it stays in that sense. There are some repercussions, yes. Yeah. And then that was also, I think, is that when Bobby talks about the court, the backs of Notre Dame, the hunchback and the quarterback, and you got your halfback.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was one of the finest moments in Bobby Bacala's great character arc. So yeah, regrets. Sorry guys. Sorry, faithful listeners.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
They will be all right, man. They will be all right. But gotta learn to live with them, as our man Sean Corey Carter once said on one of his better albums.
True.
Gotta learn to live with regrets. So
that was a great beat, actually. It was. Awesome beat.
It was. No, yeah. It was. It really was. It was. I like how it fades in. It almost pitched to the way you just did it, man. It's very smooth.
Subtle. Yeah.
Subtle. Yeah. Indeed. So tonight, Joe, we are going to talk about. So we're talking about consensus favorites. What is considered to be the finest film in the history of filmmaking ever, including all, excluding the most lists. It will be in the top 3 unless the person is really just trying to be a Pauline Kael type of contrarian, in which case they're just trolling. We're talking about Francis Ford Coppola's 1972 classic, and we say classic a lot, but classic film based on Mario Puzo's novel, The Godfather,
made by Paramount Pictures.
Made by Paramount. Made almost not made.
Almost not made by Paramount.
Almost not made,
but made by Paramount Pictures. Yeah.
Wow, man. Wow.
So many backstories. So many backstories.
So much. I mean, there are films about the making of this movie.
Yeah, one that's been trying to be made for some time, and they had a little problem with one of the actors as of late. But there've been several documentaries about the making of this film. Yeah, told from multiple points of view. Yeah. I'm sure that'll come up tonight. Produced by Bobby Evans. Yeah. And oh gosh, what's the man's name?
Ready?
Yeah, and Alan Ruddy. And so thank you. The Godfather. I mean, I was born in 1974. The year The Godfather 2, I was probably like 2 months old when Godfather 2 came out.
Okay.
So my entire life, there's been reference to The Godfather throughout my life. I didn't know what or why, but definitely throughout my life. So, but I'm gonna fall back and. I've decided to be concise tonight. I'm gonna be concise because I have so much to say. I'm gonna be concise.
When did you see it first?
The Godfather Part 1.
Part 1.
I first saw it in the summer of 19. I first saw it in the summer of 1991.
Okay.
I saw Godfather 3 first.
Okay.
On December 25th, 1990, opening night in Dallas, Texas. Wow. That was all I wanted for Christmas. I was in 10th grade. My dad took me. There were like 3 Mavericks there. It was really cool. I picked up quickly. I'd watched all the HBO documentaries.
Okay.
The behind the scenes. I picked up quickly, but had no clue about much of it. But I picked up a lot, in advance. But I went to go see it. So I saw. So I went to go. Excuse me. Sorry. I saw 1. Like I said, in the summer, it was. We rented it from Sound Warehouse. They had a video rental in the back of Sound Warehouse, and I rented it, and then I rented 2 after that. So I saw 3, then 1, then 2. But 1 was in the summer of 91.
Nice.
Followed shortly by 2.
Nice. I am sure I watched bits and pieces of it growing up and had no idea that I was watching it. Right. Because my dad, basically lived and breathed The Godfather along with Once Upon a Time in America, which he loves as well. But my first viewing of it actually happened maybe right before I went to college, like 95, 96, somewhere in rental, same type of thing. And just, immediately it's just like, yes, this is it, man. This is it. This is, and I saw 3 much later. I saw 3 when I got the DVD collection. That was my first time to see 3, but I saw 1 and 2 pretty much in short succession. And then I recall, actually, no, I take that back. I saw the Godfather saga. So the one, there's the one that puts it in chronological order.
In chronological order, yeah. With the deleted scenes or which we call them deleted scenes in some cases, yeah.
I vividly remember watching that entire thing at my grandparents' house. This is one of the few strong memories I have of my grandfather, my namesake grandfather, Calvin Miles Smith Sr. Was watching that because I remember the Fredo, scenes on the boat, the Hail Mary scene. So yes, I did see, but again, I didn't know what I was watching. So my first time intentionally watching it, like for my own, like this is The Godfather, this is a cinematic classic, was right before college. And then so
it's funny you say that because I'm sure I watched parts of it, but didn't know what I was watching throughout my life, because I do recall scenes like the one behind me, and I recall scenes like the one behind you with him and the cat. It's crazy because I guess it's lightly referred to in the books, but it didn't really come back up in the movie at all. So but it was in pop culture, and so it was always around us.
Absolutely. I mean, as the number 1 film can and should be. And the thing about it is, like, this is one thing about The Godfather that it's just a strange phenomenon to me, is that, like, no matter how much you hype it up to somebody, and no matter how much somebody goes in, like, you could be the person that just hates everything everybody hypes up. I've never had anyone ever, male, female, old, young, black, white, who watched The Godfather and said, this is a bad movie, I didn't like it.
No, I haven't. I've never heard that.
Lives up to the expectations. And I mean, it's satisfying to watch someone watch it for the first time. Really, it's one of those experiences, like, because again, I pick on Nina and Shay quite a bit. That we have
such, brother.
You
As an
know,
older brother does, is want to do. Yes.
yeah. Well, we have such different tastes in so many different things, but when each of them saw The Godfather, again, love it, and it's Shay's favorite movie by far. She loves The Godfather, and we talk about, we make Godfather references, and I jokingly refer to myself as Fredo at times, and
Come
Sonny,
on.
and yeah, I mean, it's all
You got
good.
some Sonny. You got some Sonny. You got
I
some
do have
Sonny.
some Sonny. I definitely have some Sonny. But
We all have. I mean, if
we-
you have a temper, I think people have Sonny in them.
Yeah.
I forgot in 11th grade, I did we had a pop art, 11th or 12th grade. I think it was 11th grade. We had a pop art assignment where we studied Warhol, and we were supposed to take a photo and do a 4 count of it in colors. And mine was a shot of the Don. Mine was a shot of Vito that I did in four, and I had it at Morehouse. I made that thing in like 91 or 92 at Lake Hill, and it was in my room. I lived in Fair Street dorm, now called Purdue, summer 97, and it was I brought it with me to yes, you were there. I brought it with me to college. I mean, that was an important. I wish I still had it. I would have framed it and all that, but that was
it was the original
art.
The original Joe Carlos original.
It was.
Y'all don't know about these Joe Carlos. Hey, look, man. These Joe
I'm gonna bring some. I'm gonna bring some in. We'll have some. We'll have some the next
time.
We'll have some
Joe Carlos originals, man. Like people were living for them. Like, yo, like let me get one of these, man. Y'all have no idea. You think you know? You have no idea.
Anyway.
So much of The Godfather is about the character studies and the story of corruption and how somebody, no matter what plans you have for them, how if they're born for and destined for something, this is what they become. So like it's almost like I don't know how we can broach the subject of an unsung hero necessarily in this film. But I think we can do it. I want to spend some time. I think we should probably spend some time talking about both the Don and Michael at some point. But who was your unsung hero of the film?
I mean, there's a pretty easy one for me. It's Tom Hagen.
Okay.
I think Tom though it's so difficult to separate the book from the film. And here we go. Before I go any further, look, you're in the pandemic still. I just want to remind everyone, you're still in the pandemic. Get vaccinated when you can. No matter where you are, pretty much you probably can get vaccinated right now. So get vaccinated when you can.
Thank you.
And since you're at home, download it on your Kindle, buy it on Amazon, Google Reads, Google Books, Amazon, whatever, or order from order a book from Barnes and Noble. Order a book from Barnes and Noble.
Turn those pages.
Turn the pages, little paperback, and read it. It will give you. And if I'm a Godfather fan, but if you haven't read the book, you're not.
Yeah, that's true.
You're simply, in my opinion, you're simply not. You're simply not.
Agree.
So if you really want to understand this story and the characters and the interplay and all that, you've got to read the book. And I did it. We were snowed in Athens, Georgia, in like early March 2009, and the day before, literally, I went to. There was a Barnes and Noble. I was there. I only knew people I knew in Athens were my coworkers. I would go to Barnes and Noble like a lot and just read books and leave when it was time to go. So real fun life. So I was at Barnes and Noble and I was like, oh, Godfather's like $8.99 paperback. Right. So I picked it up, bought it, and I was snowed in, for like 3 days, and which in Athens that shuts the city down. I remember I read a third of it in my bedroom. And then I trudged to IHOP and I finished the book at an IHOP. I was at IHOP for like 6 hours. I finished the book. Okay.
As they say about Harper Stewart's book, it's a page turning like a mug.
It's a page turning like a mug. Unfinished business. It's a jacked up picture. That's Love Jones. Anyway, Love Jones is 24 this year.
Might need to talk about Love Jones.
I'm always ready. I just watched it. It was just on HBO Max. I'm ready. Everything's back to Tevin Campbell lately. But not everything, some things. So
come back to the world.
Unsung hero for me is Tom Hagen.
Okay.
He was a consigliere, not Sicilian, which Sonny
not a wartime consigliere.
Not a wartime consigliere. Papa Jenko, look what
shout out to Daryl Hall, my man Daryl Hall. That's our line. Yeah, okay. All right.
Hey, brother.
Jenko.
Let's talk about what that means. After I say that, actually, I'm gonna say why. Okay, I'm gonna say why, and then we can talk about. Okay. I'm trying to be efficient here.
Okay. I'm derailing that.
He is my unsung hero because he is confident. He is capable. He is efficient.
Yes.
He stays on message.
Yes.
He is concise.
Yes.
And he always understands the bottom line for the family.
Yes.
Without equivocation. And seemingly his decisions are the right ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree. So that's why he is my unsung hero, even though coming out of that film, people it's not like it's a surprise, that he's an unsung hero. Yeah. Honorable mention unsung heroes for me are Pete Clemenza. And part of this is the book, and you try not to let two come into your thinking. You got to think about what you see on the screen.
Yeah.
But it's Pete Clemenza is another one of my unsung heroes.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay. So before I get into my unsung hero, I gotta, since you brought up the subject of the book, I had to talk about my book journey because it's relevant. So I growing up, I had we spent a lot of time at my sister's friend's house. You know what I mean? I didn't really get to go to a lot of my male friends' house. It was always my sister's friends. For whatever reason.
There's merits in there.
Well, and I was an idiot because a lot of these young ladies turned out to be wonderful young women, wonderful. Now all family women. Shout out and so here it is. She had a friend by the name of Chinue Batiste. Chinue's grown up to be just a fantastically beautiful young lady with a large family and
blessings,
yes, lots of blessings. Yes. But so I was in their basement. Kind of upset that I was there. And their grandparents they were raised by their grandparents. Yeah. This just the most amazing people ever. Colonel Batiste and his wife were just fantastic people, and they had this huge book collection in the basement. And they were like, "Yeah, just go get a book you want, or a few." And so I saw The Godfather there, and I was like, "Yo, let me read this." And I read that book in about 3 days. I finished it, and this is in the midst of AP English or whatever I was taking at the time. Finished it, read it so many times that pages started to fall out of it, so that I had to eventually purchase another copy. I purchased a copy and was stolen by my good friend whose pool house I was living in this past weekend. Gave me some aspirations of Kato Kalin, Jeff Jones, our guest for Jackie Brown.
Shout out to Jeff.
And his hospitality. Man. I was in there drinking Vizzy's. Have you seen Vizzy? It's like the White Claw. It's a White Claw, but it has a combination.
No, I saw your post about it. I haven't had I haven't had a drink since October. So I saw your White Claw was my White Claw and Truly.
Yeah,
were my hard seltzers of choice.
Yeah,
and so
this
I'm
is
going to Orlando
Truly.
this week. I'm pretty sure I'm going to consume something.
See if you get some Vizzies. See if you can get some Vizzies. Vizzies are the upper echelon of that.
Okay. Upper echelon. Above the White Claw.
Above the claw. Oh. And all right. So yeah, okay. but I've read The Godfather probably more than any non-Stephen King book ever. Yeah. Wow. And wow. So yeah, so that happened. So my unsung hero is your B, Clemenza, man. I love Pete Clemenza. Yeah. I love everything about Pete Clemenza. Hey, so guys, I don't know if you guys noticed in the past, I did not have my backgrounds. I have backgrounds now, guys.
We're so proud. Oh, let's shout out to your background, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out, congrats.
Thanks.
Congrats. Oh, I knew that's where you're gonna go. Yeah, you love her, you're gonna die.
Why don't you tell that girl you love her?
Tell a nice girl you love her.
Joe.
Michael, to say it, Michael. I'll see you later. He wasn't giving it up, brother. He was not giving it up.
Not. Michael stayed strong. Shout out to Michael.
He did. Shout out to Michael. He wasn't doing it in that room. He never. He was of and not with.
Yeah.
And but he knew that rule.
Yeah. Clemenza.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go on, please.
Clemenza was dispensing so much wisdom and so much knowledge all throughout the film. There she is.
I found a website.
The dreaded.
I found a website. Adams. The dreaded K. Adams look. This dreaded look. It's like the worst look in
Diane Keaton. Oh, okay. Anyway, so
Annie Hall. She is. She's Annie Hall. She is
Annie Hall, and she's amazing in Annie Hall. She's amazing in Godfather, actually.
She is.
That's all right. So Clemenza, man, for the meatball recipe, because you never know when you might have to cook for a bunch of these guys. I've stolen his and Ralphie's from The Sopranos, all of those things. And have gotten commendations for my recipes. So, it's all from.
There's so much meat when he put it.
He shoves it in there. Shoves it in there. You got to shove them in there.
Wine, sugar. It's Progresso. It's Progresso. It's like 2 cans of Progresso.
Yeah. The Progresso,
right
the blue cans. Right.
Yeah.
So there's the scene that I think the little bit that he says that I enjoy the most. Besides take the gun, lead the cannoli, take the cannolis, lead the gun, however that goes. I'm jacking it up, regrets. But when he talks about these things have to happen every 5 or 6 years, every 10 years or so, got to get the bad blood out. Like, it's so real, man. Like, I used to be a troll on the internet, Joe. I don't know if you were aware of this. I know you.
Yes. Yes.
And there was one.
You're an early adopter. So trolling is just part of.
It's a part of your training, right?
Yes.
So there's this board that I was an infamous member of. I had been kicked out probably 4 times. The K Thanks Bye board. Risha of what is her? She's a chef now, Chef Risha.
Okay.
Yeah, but she had this message board, and we had this love-hate relationship. And we used to have these things on there called lemon squeezes, where I would typically be the person, the troll that would like kind of just get the bad blood out. And I would use the Clemenza line. I was like, these things have to happen every few months or so, get this bad blood out so we can we can get along with one another. I was the proverbial straw that stirred the drink in that and I got kicked out so many times. I would come back under aliases. One time, one of my trusted friends was like, "Yeah, that's Calvin," and boom. Next thing I knew, I was banned for another month or so. And then I get back into Reese's good graces. But Clemenza, man, with his he just was a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
He was loyal. He was someone who understood like how things work, the business of it. Polly, you won't be seeing him anymore.
You won't be seeing him.
We're not gonna see him no more. Just was his good husband, obviously, because he remembered to take the cannolis back to his wife. That was the only instruction.
Only thing she asked.
You've got to do, gentlemen. If you're married, just do what she asks. Just do the one thing.
Yep.
You don't have to do everything. Just do the one thing. So my other unsungs besides Clemenza, I was a big fan of Salazzo, even though he's kind of a sleazebag. I liked his facial expressions and how he acted with his face.
Mm-hmm.
You could see his eyes. Like, there was a lot in his eyes when Luca Brasi, aka Louis Brasi, if you're Christopher Moltisanti, came was trying to do that end run. You can see it in his eyes. He knew what was up from the beginning. When he's talking to Tom Hagen,
mm-hmm.
about the plan both before mm-hmm. and after he knew how it ended up. Just amazing. And the scene in the restaurant when he's talking to Michael in Italian. Just fantastic work, man. Fantastic acting. Salazzo, the Turk, and to your point about the book, man. I mean, they flesh out so much, but this is one of those movies that really it cut to the they cut to the chase about a lot of the characters, and it really nailed a lot of the characters in a way that a lot of different movies don't really do with the book. It remained very, very, very true to the novelization. The only character I think that really got the short shrift was probably Johnny Fontaine. They didn't really give him as much due. And the
I think Vito did too.
Yeah, well, sure, but Vito did, but they circled back to it with two. If you want to,
yeah, but yes, but you know, I guess the way Vito would Vito's intelligence and the way that he would know things, and it's brought up in little parts, but the way he would say things, no, my little son, or my little the way he would bring things up, and maybe maybe that just wasn't going to work in a script. I don't know.
That's true.
But he was an all-knowing guy.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say. He was
a cunning guy.
Very cunning. Yeah, a great deal of cunning he had.
Yeah, yes. I agree. And they did not give him.
I just thought that was probably kind of left out. I think they presumed we understood it, that Vito is intelligent, and Vito is all powerful because you've read the book, which is and at that time people had read the book. People were reading that.
And this is amazing, is that this is still a bestseller.
It was a bestseller
at the time of the release of the film, and that was not a thing then. Like now, you get New York bestseller, New York Times bestseller.
Yeah. There's no guarantee.
Love story in this.
Yeah, and then we saw it in our time, in our lifetime. We saw it with the Grisham stuff.
Yeah.
A little Rising Sun.
Yeah.
Some Crichton had a little run. Crichton had a little run.
Yeah.
And obviously Grisham went on in a tear in the 90s. He owned that time period.
Yeah.
Making him, obscenely wealthy and probably the most recognized author, I think, at the time. But I want to say this. I forgot about this. I remember we were in Jackson, Mississippi, where my mother's from, at my grandmother's house, and on one of the trips, and my dad was reading a book all the whole weekend, and I was like, what are you reading? He says The Godfather, and I said, it's a book? I think I must have been like 11 or 12. So I knew of The Godfather. I didn't know what it meant or anything, but he said, it's an amazing book, son. And I said, well, can I read it? He said, not read, but I read The Color Purple. Unbeknownst to him, like my mother knew it, but he didn't know. But having said that, though, it was at my grandmother's house, and I mean, she was a principal and a teacher and all these things, and I'm thinking like, The Godfather is at my grandmother's, my maternal grandmother's house. This book, but that book was a very big deal when people read books, and then when the most famous, and that was a big deal for Paramount. The two best-selling books in the two best-selling books really of that era, Paramount had bought them, and made and then developed films around them, in Love Story, and like you said, in Love Story and in The Godfather, and it put The Rock on the map with those two smash hits. Smash hits. So absolutely. Okay, so it's Pete Clemenza for you. Any 1As or 1Bs or
in one, not really.
Okay, we're only talking about one.
Yeah. So not really.
Okay. Just curious. Okay. Just curious.
Yeah. Everybody else is just kind of, I mean, I appreciated them, but they were not the characters that Tom Hagen is my B.
I got you.
But and I got to give a quick shout out to Tom Hagen for you talked about how he was so quick with it. You know what I mean? Like the whole scene with Jack Waltz when he's like, I don't care how many Dago Goombas you bring out, and he's like, I'm German Irish.
I'm German Irish.
So calmly, but I'm married. I'm German Irish.
I heard it. You tell him. Yeah, I heard that story.
You tell him I heard that story. I ain't no band leader. Yeah. But I heard that story. Tom Hagen, man, I'm German Irish. It's just so cool, so cool, man. He's like
it's funny. I don't know, man. That whole thing is I had a picture too of the two of them at dinner. And I don't know what happened to it, but the two of them together, that whole exchange with Tom and Waltz, I thought that was great acting. And obviously, absolutely. I mean, since we're here, we might as well keep going down that road.
Yeah.
Obviously, then it brings probably the most memorable scene in the film, and the most memorable scene probably in film history. I mean, you wouldn't. It's not a crazy notion to call that, you know, literally the most memorable scene in film history. And I'll say, oh, what's his background? What's he got now? What's he got? I'm in background mode right now. But I you know, let's see, what's he got? Oh, cartoon. Thanks, Tony. It's one of two black people in the film. But so cartoon.
Talk about it, man. Talk about it.
For the one, if you haven't seen the film, I'm sorry. This is spoiler alert.
Why are you listening to this? Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, so we want you to listen, but
he bought a horse for what was it, $250,000, whatever it was. There's some
which was an astronomical amount of money in the 40s.
In the 40s, like 44, 46, or whatever it was. So he buys this horse. Oh, and you know what? Before I read the book, I didn't realize the time frame, the time difference between Connie's wedding and the whole thing when the story really kicks off with the Turk. I didn't realize how much time. I presumed everything was Christmas time. So if you think about it, it was the summer. It was in the summer, and then so 6 months, 4, 5, 6 months pass, and you know the rest kind of gets it going there. But so in The Godfather, or in mafia lore, a Don, or a head of a family, or a Godfather, cannot refuse a request on the day of his daughter's wedding. So there's a number of people that come asking questions on the day of his daughter's wedding. Yes. One of them is his godson, and we have to talk about this. If we're talking about Waltz, we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Which opens a whole other door. so his godson is a character named Johnny Fontaine.
Yep. Very loose interpretation of
my main man, Francis Albert Sinatra. The ring-a-ding pal, who was on a rampage of hatred over this film, raised all types of money to combat the stereotypes and tropes of this beautiful film, which probably only helped its box office in the end. And I don't know how to say. So this character in the book was written, and in the book it's clearly Frank Sinatra. Johnny Fontaine is clearly Frank Sinatra, as you can see in the book.
Yeah, right down to like Jack Dorsey as the band leader.
Yeah, right. the band leader story, getting him out of the contract. Yeah. The wife, he leaves his wife, or the other actress, the actress. Yeah. He's got this role that he really wants to get. Everybody knew he wanted to get From Here to Eternity. Yeah. And this was the role. I mean, it's literally about Frank. So he was hot about it. Speaking about Santino, geez, he was hot about it. So long story short, this guy Waltz, so they wanted him to go get this, they wanted him to get the movie. And he said, well, he goes to Godfather, says, hey, they start shooting in a week. He's like, hey, no, I'll take care of it. I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. Mm-hmm. So so we get that in American lexicon, right? So we get that, right? Which they say in the movie 2 or 3 times. It comes back. It keeps coming back up because obviously it's something that their father says. Yeah. So they go out So Tom Hagen gets on a plane, flies to LA, goes to talk to the head of the studios, Jack Waltz. Obviously Jack Warner. Yeah. Goes and gets on the plane, goes up there. Little do we know, you got to read the book to understand this, because there's so much going on. Yeah. Okay. Or you got to see the saga to understand this, or the epic to understand this. There's like so much weird stuff going on with Waltz. They could have gotten him on any number of things. Yeah. Yeah. But what they did was, and I'm just gonna leave it at this because you got to read this book. What they did, I want to say it, but what they did was they take his prized possession, Cartoon, which is right behind Calvin.
Yes. Cartoon.
cartoon. This horse he paid like, what do you say, like $250,000 for?
Yeah, man.
In the 40s. I'm not gonna race him though. I'm just gonna put him out to stud.
Put him out the stud.
I can't even the inflation on that. I gotta look it up and do the inflation calculator on that. 250 to in 2021 dollars. Anyway, they cut the horse's head off. They had a couple different horses they got from like a glue factory or like a butchery factory or something like that.
Yeah.
And the first you see this scene, this beautiful building. Where did man? I had all kinds of screenshots for this. I don't know where they went. You see this beautiful building, and then and then it just kind of slowly. Well, how much was it?
So they bought it for $600,000.
Oh gosh,
that would be $8,311,624 in 2017. $8 million horse.
An $8 million horse. They cut the head off of an $8 million horse. So you see, clean off. You slowly, Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox. You see, it slowly pans in, and it's going to his bed. This beautiful gold, place fit for a king.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he feels something. He's like, what's going on? So not only did they cut the head, and it seemed like they poured blood all over him.
Oh yeah.
Because he's wet. He's like,
all on those satin sheets.
Yeah, all on those gold satin sheets, and he's like, what is this? And the blood's everywhere, and the way he screams.
Yeah, it's one of the best screams in movie history.
It's like that in Jaws. Yeah. I mean, it's up there, and when you hear it once, you'll never forget it. And
they pan out.
At that point, they pan out. And at that point, like, okay, we're not playing around.
Mm-mm.
We can get to you any way we want to get to you.
Mm-hmm.
Which shows you from the beginning, how decisive they are.
The power of the Godfather.
And then the next shot is the Don doing this. Did you get some rest? I slept on the plane. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna move over to Sollozzo.
Yeah.
The film makes it seem like they met with Sollozzo the next day.
No, that was right.
It might have been the next week. It might have been. It might have been soon thereafter, but it wasn't the next day.
Yeah.
But it makes it seem that way. But that is probably the most famous scene. Well, that's probably the most. It's been fictionalized, glamorized, redone in countless. It was Martin. It was The Simpsons.
Yeah.
It was A Different World.
Yeah.
There have been countless films and television shows. To an extent.
Yeah, like there's a lot of.
What did do Boomerang with that?
I mean, how did I miss that? It was the other way around when he pulls the sheets back on the toes.
Oh yeah. Oh, the toes. She had hammer time.
Yeah.
Can't do it yet. But easily one of the most famous. Yeah, easily one of the most famous scenes. Yeah. Not my favorite scene, but one of the most famous scenes in the film.
So little things, then, Joe. Let's talk about little things before we get to big things. What little things stood out in the film for you?
Francis's attention to detail.
Yeah.
He made a period picture, and he was serious about it. Now, because I've watched so many documentaries on this, I'm just gonna. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna act like I knew this stuff, but the stickers on the cars.
Okay.
Were the same stickers that they would have been during that time.
Wow.
Okay. There was wooden bumpers. They wouldn't give you didn't get metal bumpers back then during wartime in the 40s because all the metal was used for tanks,
the war
and
effort,
planes. Yeah, the war effort, right?
Yeah.
So they had wooden bumpers. If you see riding down the street, you see wooden bumpers. And if you go to Clemenza, when they go to Pete's house, he pulls out of one car, but his car is in the driveway at the end of the drive. And you see a wooden bumper there. And it was very important to Francis that Coppola that detail was there. Something like the Progresso, which is probably product placement, but hey, this was the authenticity in the cooking and things of that nature. Those are little things that stood out to me.
Sure.
And also the little it's not a little thing, but it is a little thing. It's just the fashion.
Yeah.
For me as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of which I would never want to ever replicate.
Yeah.
It looked like a crazy, except for Waltz. I love what Waltz wore. Waltz was smooth. But that was the little things for me. What about you?
Sure. For me, it's the little subtleties in the acting. And there's one scene in particular that stood out for me. And it's when Michael is at the hospital and Enzo the baker, was it Enzo that came by? Yeah, Enzo comes by
for your father.
Yeah, with the and, you know, he's come by with the flowers or whatever, and like you can see Mike. First of all, he's getting rid of those things, throws them away like effortlessly.
I love that part.
And you know, fixes his collar, tells him to act like he has a gun, yada yada, right? And then Enzo does his thing. The car rolls by, and the next thing you know, like he's trying to get the cigarettes. He's fumbling for the cigarettes.
Yeah,
and perfect, so good, so good. Fumbling for the cigarettes. I love your background, man. And the scene shows Enzo's shaking, but Michael's cool as a fan. Mm-hmm. Michael's hands don't shake.
And but Michael, he's been in war. He's been in war though.
But Michael looks at Enzo's hands and then looks at his own hands in that scene. He looks at both of their hands, and he recognizes, like, and you're right, Joe. He's been to war, but I think he recognizes that he has that it factor, that thing that makes him be able to be the Don eventually, like cool under pressure, able to take command of a scene, you know, and just a little, like, as it ramps up to that, you know what I mean? Like from Michael just kind of being in and around things and kind of being above the fray to his gradual descent into the fray, and then eventually
he was a Dartmouth. He was a student at Dartmouth, which is where we met Kay.
Met Kay Adams.
Yeah. He was the little son. He was the younger brother who wasn't.
He's supposed to be a senator.
Yeah.
Supposed to be a senator or a president or something, you know.
President, right?
You know, but he was made for. He just was made for that job, man. He's just cool under pressure, and I like how they just, you know, again, subtly ease him into it. You know, he's telling the stories about his father, and then, you know, the other thing that I like is how they juxtapose Kay's like kind of her righteousness, like her high horse, her moral high horse, where she's like, you know, senators and presidents don't get men killed. Michael's like, oh, who's naive now?
Who's naive now?
Like, come on, man. Like, just the fact that, like, you know, to show her entering, like, Kay's kind of the avatar for the average person, recognizing what and how the mafia works, you know, and it's annoying, but I think that's purposeful, and it's because we are annoying. Actually, we as a society are annoying and don't really get or understand things much in the way that she doesn't. Thinks we have an understanding about things, but really, you know, has no idea. And so I like that as well. You know, that little bit of characterization for Kay, turning her as the avatar for us. And, you know, it's interesting to watch it with that perspective, because, you know, it's real easy to jump in and say, you know, how much you hate, because I do it all the time. Talk about how much you hate Kay Adams, but really Kay is a reflection of what, just like, you know, in The Sopranos, how David Chase used a lot of those characters as reflections of the audience. She was really the avatar for the audience, and her disgust with things, her lack of understanding with things, her naivete was ours. It was a reflection of what we are. So really just, I enjoyed that being able to look at it, that subtext of the movie, and be able to just kind of appreciate what exactly it was that Francis Ford Coppola was trying to do, and Mario Puzo as well. But I think Francis was a bit more intentional about doing that. So yeah, those little things stood out for me, man. In a movie with a lot of little things and a lot of big things. So what about TV connections, Joe? Because you were. Wait.
I forgot to say one more thing. Okay,
say it.
Dean Tavaleras, cinematographer. How can I forget this?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
The master of the darkness.
Yeah.
The king of the darkness.
Yeah.
You gotta. Let me tell you something. You just gotta get with it, because this film's dark, and I say that to say there's a lot of conversations, very well written lines in rooms that aren't lit well.
Yeah.
In many cases.
Yeah.
And so don't adjust your brightness. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I never saw 1 and 2 in the theater.
Oh, I can
So
only imagine what that would have
so
been
I
like.
can imagine how dark it
Yeah,
was. Except when you go to like Sicily or something like that, or you're on
yeah,
the Sicily in the countryside there in Corleone.
yeah.
But I just want to say that's another little thing for me.
Sure,
Just
sure.
the art direction there, and Tavares, I think he won best cinematographer for I believe for the film.
Yeah,
And he's the master of darkness, though. He knew how to use shadows in a way, and that's something that's not necessarily on the page. That's
yeah,
just hey, this is how I'm going to shoot it. It's going to be this dark, and y'all
yeah,
just going to deal with it.
yeah.
So, and to his credit, that look is definitely a preset in photos today, Instagram, and photography
Yeah.
photos today. That dark look, that is one of like 6 or 7 colors in the whole film.
Hmm.
It's definitely as an homage to that. But
Yeah.
sorry, I want to say that societal impact,
Yeah. I mean, huge, like huge.
endless.
This is like, I mean, prior to this, mafia movies were laughable
Mhm.
slash over the top hammy. Like, you got Public Enemy, which is a great film, but it's
Yeah.
very ham-fisted. I mean, it starts off with a disclaimer about, this is where we're headed as a society, yada yada, it's just super ham-fisted. You got I forget the name of the actor, but the actor that plays these bosses. There was one film that JT Dolan was telling Tony Soprano about, that he was basing the character in Cleaver on. That
Yeah.
actor that plays all those bosses I mean, they're just like laughable.
Yeah.
And one of the documentaries I watched in the lead up to this show, to us talking about this, talked about how a lot of, and this is no slight to the Hollywood industry and those that are large participants in it, which a lot of Jewish people are participants in it, but a lot of the characterization of mafia people were done by Jews in
Oh
Hollywood.
yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and so it didn't have the authenticity that this film had. And the documentary I saw was talking quite a bit about how a lot of, like, I mean, you had Joe Montana, a lot of people talking about how watching this felt like home. It felt like people they knew. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
it was for, I'm not an Italian American person. I can't say this knowing for sure, and I wasn't alive then, but from what they say and from what I can gather, this was the first real authentic look at what life was like, and what the omerta was, and how it really really affected lives in that period of time, and was realistic. So, I mean, it changed the entire game, and that's just talking about mafia, not just filmmaking. Like, from a filmmaking standpoint, again, it was a game changer. It brought Paramount, to the forefront where it would not have been if not for this film. It definitely, Francis Ford Coppola, the way that he made it became the standard for how you make films. The
Mm-hmm.
George Lucas and all these guys. And I mean, we wouldn't have.
That was a crew, though. That was a
Yeah,
crew.
that was the crew. That was the crew. That was the crew. Brian De Palma, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, all these guys. But
Scorsese.
Scorsese, they wouldn't be able to do what they were able to do if not for the success of this film. So,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know,
It opened the door. He was the
yeah,
first one to get some get that love too.
yeah, yeah. How do you feel? What do you think about the societal impact of the film?
I mean, we talked about it's in shows, it's in countless television shows and films. Um, it defines mafia stories now.
Yeah,
I mean, it is the quintessential. There
yeah,
are others that I think are strong, or at least one other that I think is extremely strong, and we've talked
yeah,
about it before.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
1990s Goodfellas.
yeah, sure.
But I think that
Excuse me.
I think one would be remiss to not note that this is the granddaddy of them all. This is the Rose
Yeah,
Bowl.
yeah, the
This is
granddaddy of them all.
yeah. This is where it all stems from. And as I've fallen into fallen is a tough word. I'm currently binging, you know, uh, um, The Sopranos again, and yeah, and so and so
Yes.
I will not be the one to break a piece.
But if he would be struck by lightning,
there are. I'm a sentimental. I'm a superstitious man.
I'm very
I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see.
Yeah, they speak when they should listen.
Listen, yeah. So I apologize. No, I was going to say, Sopranos is an 86-hour homage.
Yeah, absolutely.
To The Godfather. It's referenced.
Yeah.
It's referenced incorrectly,
yeah.
but it's in some cases, but it's referenced. It's brought up quite a bit. There are scenes where he's directly, okay, there's a scene where he goes to the caretaker when I think it was when Livia died.
Yeah, and
he goes, no, he goes down like they're on an elevator.
Yeah, yeah. And then the funeral director says he'll put all his powers.
Yeah.
He's like, don't go crazy.
Then later, if you think about it later, in the Sopranos, this is good that we went back to back with this because it's just simpler for us all.
Yeah.
Later in the Sopranos, not to mention there's actors who were in all of them.
Yes.
But later in the Sopranos, they bring up AJ brings it. He says, when you watch Godfather 2, and he gets it back and you cheer. And he's like, it's a movie. It's a movie, man. It's a movie.
Yeah.
In season 2, they're trying to watch the restored version of Godfather 2, which was the hot DVD at the time.
Yeah. That was the first one my dad got. The very first one he got.
I remember when it came out, it was like I just bought my DVD player into the Apex in 2001, and I bought 3. No. I had Jared Boyd's 3, and somehow the DVD got stuck in the player, like not where it couldn't be played. It just went down.
Oh, wow.
And I had one of the engineering guys take it out. And it didn't affect the DVD player. Like I had to get it back. So anyway, long story short, but I had all 3. But long story short, it's endless, man. Think about this: Ocean's 13.
Yeah,
Clooney is talking to Pacino.
Yeah,
and he does the line. He says the line.
What matters most to me.
What matters most to me.
I hear cars pulling up. I hear Linus crying.
Linus is crying.
That's my favorite part of 13. That's my favorite part of 13. I love it.
That might be the best line, even though 12 is like mine. Like I love 12 because it's just so sexy and beautiful, and it's European,
stylistic.
It is.
Lake Como. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on, and the music is beautiful and all that. But when he says, that might be my favorite line in all 3 films. He says, Linus is crying.
Why don't you tell me what everybody else needs to know?
So when I watched it again in preparation for this, I rewound that scene 3 times because I kept laughing because I was thinking about the scene in Ocean's 13. I was thinking about Elliot Gould. Gould saying it. Linus is crying, and I had to go back, like literally, like, huh? Because that's what was in my head. And he's like, he didn't say Linus is crying. Like, what happened? And then he said, but you had to have a drink first.
Yeah.
He said, you had your drink.
Yeah. And then why don't you tell your
and then you see that little bit of tenderness.
Yeah.
He pulls him in. It's his son. Pulls him in, and then it is what it is. Yeah. It is. They go see Buenos Aires. I was going to say the societal impact is limitless.
Yeah.
Pop culture, referenced in songs, referenced in films, referenced in television shows, reference forever. Everywhere. So it's in and then it's referenced, and then it's thematically part of part of several. It's just, it shows up. The storyline shows up over and over and over again, and different pieces of it show up over and over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so it'd be disingenuous for us to say that like it was completely original, because there are some, I mean, there's the brothers Kaczmarov,
there he is. There he is. Here
yeah,
comes.
man.
Here it comes.
I went to Morehouse, man. I went to Morehouse. Come on.
Here he comes. There you go.
So, there, but the tale of three brothers, of three sons, it hadn't been told that way. It really hadn't. Oh man. Hey, let's talk about the scene real quick. We talk about societal impact, because, like, a lot happens.
This has a Last Supper feeling too.
Very much Last Supper. Very much Last Supper. It shows how these guys who've been warring and been killing and laying waste to the city of New York, just dead bodies everywhere, right? They're in the mattresses. And then they can go to, like, basically what in today's day would be like just a conference room somewhere, or a Zoom conference, and talk civilly and have civil conversations, and manage to denigrate an entire race of people. Just matter of factly, leave it in the colored peoples. They're animals.
They're animals anyway.
Let them lose their souls.
Let them lose their souls.
It's
literally how it was done.
And it still is. That's how they feel now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's literally how it was done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in the book, it's laid out even more. I mean, there's so much racism, in the book. But
there's a scene too, the dinner scene. But we'll talk about the scene. But they give a little bit of a the Harlem policy numbers war. Rackets. Which has been theorized and glamorized. It's Bumpy Johnson. It's the Madam, the Queen. I can't think of her name right now, but it's it's Hoodlum.
Yeah,
essentially. They talk about it. Yeah, we got those policy. The niggas up in Harlem when they driving the Cadillacs. Santino says that quickly, and then Connie says, Daddy never talked business at the table, and probably one of the next time you watch that, just watch Fredo. Just don't watch anybody but Fredo.
Okay, because I've never. Okay,
that's what I did the last time. I just watched Fredo because I noticed him. And I was like, let me rewind this. I'm only going to watch Fredo in this scene because he's just kind of there. Mom made some dinner. I didn't mean that.
This is my brother Mike.
This is my brother Mike. I didn't know what to make of Fredo. I was like, what is Fredo? And to be Fredo, let's talk about societal impact. To be called Fredo Corleone, I was just watching an episode of Sopranos. It was Sentimental Education, and season 5.
Mr. Wiggles talking to the
guy, and he says,
Mr. Fisk, he's a cold fish.
He said, so Fredo Corleone gets a
right, gets an A because you say so.
Fredo,
what does it say about the kid who works hard?
Because Fredo Corleone.
And
then later in what was that movie? Analyze This. It's like, I'm Fredo. Come on. De Niro's like laughing about it. Like, I'm not gonna be Fredo. Know that.
So much. I mean, it's so pervasive in society. Everything about this film. It's just, I mean, you almost can't really have meaningful friendships or things like that if somebody imagine Joe finding out one of your friends hadn't seen this film. Like,
well, we got to sit down. We got to take care of that.
You got to
we might have to watch it. We might have to watch it on Zoom or Teams together. But I was going to say the reason that they speak ill of Fredo. Let's be okay. So for the uninitiated, and if you're this far in the thing, you haven't watched it. I don't know what to tell you about your life.
You just love us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It's on Showtime right now. You can watch it Showtime on demand, like right now. But Fredo was sick as a baby. He was sick as a child. And so he was always a little smaller and a little thinner and more gaunt. Frail is a better word. More frail. Fredo was, even though he was older than Michael eventually becomes a Don.
I was passed over.
Here we go. Now we're at 2.
I'm sorry.
I was passed over. No, it's all right. It's all right. I mean, the origin story, I was dipping into anyway in the origin story. So I was passed over. I'm smart.
Not like everybody thinks like dumb. I'm smart.
So when I hear, and I want respect. So when I hear him say, I'm smart, and Bobby Cazal.
John Cazale.
John Cazal, sorry. Made 4 movies. 5 movies. I think all 5 of them.
All 5 were nominated for Best Picture.
Best Picture.
Yep.
It's not a surprise that he was in them all. Okay.
Yep.
Let's just be honest.
Yep.
Died of cancer at a very young age. John Cazal.
His fiance at the time was
Meryl Streep. Some things aren't accidents. I'm just gonna say that. But he was a weak character. Yeah. When his dad was the assassination attempt on his father, he didn't know what to do. He was sitting there. Why he didn't have the street smarts or the sense to know what was coming around the corner.
Yep.
He fumbled the gun.
Yep.
In this film he speaks against the family, which is the harbinger of the film there. When he takes sides against the family.
Take sides against the family again. You're
my brother and I love you. But don't ever take sides against the family again. Which is as you can see illustrated in this scene here. And so which is right behind me. But so when you call somebody Fredo, it is a put down.
It is a big time put down.
Major put down. So just wanted to say that for the uninitiated, for the few that were.
Don't call somebody Fredo unless you really have.
Yeah. Or unless you're ready. Throw down. So throw down. Yes.
I got Jack Johnson right here.
What's your favorite scene?
Whew, man, so many. I really like the opening scene. I like the wedding. Like, I mean, there's no better opening scene in the film to me than this opening scene. Just the way that they lay out who and what everybody is. There's the whole dynamic, and this is something again from the book. You read the book, you have a lot more understanding about Sonny and his prowess as a man. And
I had a whole picture. I had a whole picture for that. I'm upset at myself right now. I had a whole shot of that.
And Lucy Mancini and that whole thing.
Lucy Mancini. Now you're talking. You're talking. Talk to me.
Yeah, man. That just that, and the even just the way it opens up with I Believe in America, like just incredible, and like the celebration. How it opens up in a celebration. This movie opens up in a celebration of America and of life in America, of Italian American life in America, of a marriage, of a wedding, of the promise of each of us, we've both had weddings, and just like how there's so much promise and potential, and everything is just like awesome on that day of the wedding, right?
Absolutely.
And then life starts to happen. So, but the way they introduce all the characters, and again, Kay is the avatar, learning who everybody is.
Right. Unbeknownst, just no clue.
Yeah.
And gets totally unpracticed.
Gets pulled into the picture.
Right.
Just like how the mafia does with the unsuspecting somebody unsuspecting. There you go. Sonny's wife. Now, look. Hey, so ladies, let's talk about this real quick. Because, ladies do this. They'll talk about what you do and how you do it. You know what I mean? And then look over her shoulder and see somebody walking out with like you telling everybody. Like,
she was a maid of honor. Lucy Mancini was a maid of honor.
She was the maid of honor. She was
definitely like Connie's best friend. Definitely like in their lives.
Yeah, that wasn't the first time. Easily, they but again, just a lot is told and without a whole lot of exposition. Like, they don't waste a lot of dialogue telling you about who these people are. You get Luca Brasi, talking to himself and just being. And I love how the Don is like, do I really have to? He's like, do I really have to talk to Luca here at this wedding? Like, is this necessary? Is this absolutely necessary? I think is what he said.
Yeah, it's absolutely necessary.
But just that scene I think is it. I don't want to talk too much about other ones because I mean the movie in and of itself.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah,
set piece after
go
set
ahead.
piece. I think I really like that. You know, Sonny's temper. Anytime they show Sonny's temper and the build up to Sonny's temper, like the kids, like, oh, mommy, daddy's mad again. Like, you know, like
Right.
Sonny is, and how it becomes his undoing. When there's two distinct moments where he bites something. He bites down on his fist to keep from, you know, going crazy in that moment, and then he bites down on Carlo's hand to try to get him free so he can make more wild punches. That's also one of the most horribly choreographed fights in the history of
that may be the weak link in the entire film. that fight.
But you know, I enjoyed every time Sonny was angry. Like, I really just like, I thought that translated very well from the book. They really captured a bit of that. And then the scene where Michael meets Apollonia, just, I've experienced that. I've been hit with the Thunderbolt.
The Thunderbolts. Yes.
That has happened to me. So I really appreciated seeing that scene and seeing it translated from the film or from the book. I thought they did an excellent job, like how descriptive Mario Puzo was in the novelization. They really captured her beauty, the way she looked, her wet mouth, what you know, like,
what hair, more Greek than Italian. No
girl like that lives in this village. I loved it. I love when he said,
you lose a daughter instead of gaining a son-in-law. And he goes,
right.
Fabrizio looks at him like, what?
Right.
And then his other bodyguard's like, but gotta go there. What? Come on. And he was like, she aight, you know. The other guy was like, there you go. Yeah. I mean, he was feeling her, but he was like, okay. But yeah, the Thunderbolt, they both got hit by the Thunderbolt. And it was
staggered. They were staggered by each other. Like, you know,
yes.
It was
very sad. That's very sad.
Very well portrayed.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah. What about you? What scenes do you
love? Favorite scene. Wow. In The Godfather, gosh.
It's tough, man.
I love the scene where, and I'm going to show a picture of it. Obviously, I love the scenes that you mentioned. Okay. Here we go. I love the scenes that you mentioned. But also, to me, this scene right here, behind me.
Where, I drink more wine than I used to. Yes.
This scene here, where Michael, it's the last scene that we see Michael and the two Godfathers together. Yeah. Michael and the Don talking it out, and he then shares his dreams, and he says, you know, I knew Sonny would have this life, and Fredo,
I never wanted this for you, Michael.
I never wanted this for you. Like, I had 3 sons, and I knew that one of you would be in the business without question. But this wasn't what you were supposed to do. But he was good at it. He was very, very good at it, and showed more strength than they thought he had. And you could tell, obviously, that his father loved him. You could tell that he's respected him, and you could tell that he was proud of him.
Yeah.
And I love that scene. I love their interplay, back and forth, and the advice that he gives throughout.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's when he says, "Whoever comes to you about the meeting is a traitor."
It's straight. Yeah.
And so it was, of course, it was Sally. It was Tessio.
He always was the smarter one.
Yeah, it's a smart play.
Smart.
Which kind of lends credence to the notion about that theory you mentioned last week about
Paulie and Philly.
and well, Patsy
Preach.
Yeah.
Not Philly. I'm Philly.
But
I watched Bad House last night, or Fun House last night. So
oh gosh,
Philly's fresh in my mind.
I'm sure he is. And so I'm on Marco Polo like right now.
Marco.
I'm on Marco Polo like Corrado just told Hugo about the party. So
what a miserable old man.
That miserable old man. Actually, so I love this scene because it's tender and it's beautiful and it's everything. And he said in the end, he says, "We'll get there, Pop.
We'll get there, Pop."
To me, that's what it's about. I think another scene. Obviously, I love the killings.
Yeah.
When he orchestrates the murders of the heads of the 5 families.
Yeah. Oh, that montage. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
Very good. Montage with the baptism. He's killing them, and they're killing him, and the baptisms are happening at the same time.
Michael Francis Rizzi, do you take Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior? I do. Murder.
Yeah. Doing all that. So I think those scenes are amazing. And then the hospital scene. You mentioned it earlier, just the hospital scene.
Oh,
says, do you know my father? Men are coming here to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, like I need this help. Okay. Yeah. So I need you to come out here and do what we need to do. But also I love the interplay. So I'm gonna say this and I'll shut up. The scenes between when Sonny and Tom fight. It's great to me. It shows the two sides of Vito that each of them have taken on. And then they're exemplifying them in trying to make their points.
Don't they seem more brotherly than like Tom and Sonny's dynamic seems more brotherly?
They're like same age.
Than Michael and Sonny's. Now I think Tom and Michael also have a really good brotherly relationship too. But Tom and our Sonny and Michael's brotherly relationship is very detached, to me.
Yeah, I think they were there's some differences in age. He beat him up a lot because he was smaller.
Yeah,
and and he bullied him a long time. And I think that then when he went to go World War II, he went to college, so he messed with him about that.
Yeah,
went to World War II and was a war hero, and that's when he was like, okay, all right. But he could never not make fun of him.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Nice college boy like yourself.
This walk up to me.
Bada boom! Your brain's all over a nice heavily suit. Tom, this is business. He's taking it very personal.
Right.
I mean,
good old James Caan.
Yeah, good old Jimmy Caan. Yeah,
great performance.
Oh, I'll say. I mean, this whole thing is just everybody's tip top. Everybody brought their A games.
Yeah.
Truly. So those are my scenes.
Okay. That's. I mean, hey, look, we're talking about the Godfather here, man. So really, every single scene in the movie.
They're pretty awesome, brother. So the office was not in the house. The office is on a stage up in Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was, this is behind the scenes, what they did was they just had like white crepe paper over the blinds, over the little blind, and it just made it look like it's outside. And so
I see.
But I didn't realize at the time that the house was part of a compound, right? So you come to the mall, the court of the mall there, and you come in through the wall entrance they have there, and then and they all live there on the grounds. That's the idea, that they all live there on the grounds. And so Fredo's house is right next, to his dad's house. It was built in 1939. So obviously, whatever they'd done, Vito had enough scratch at that point built up that he could build this five. It was there were 5 houses on the compound. Jesus. 5 buildings on the compound. Yeah. So everybody could have their place. The person who didn't live there, Connie and Carlo did not live there.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, had they lived there, I think it'd have been a little different.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But they didn't live there. So
yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Oh, Carlo, man, he was,
Yeah. He was doomed from the beginning.
And
that was Sonny's. He was Sonny's friend.
Exactly. And again, that's another thing that's kind of fleshed out a little bit better in the book. You understand that dynamic and how that happened. They allude to it, and again, you can view it two ways. You can view it as they really appreciate the audience to kind of, they didn't pander to the audience so much. But
and Connie was supposed to be this unattractive girl who was the Godfather's daughter, like the princess, the mafia princess, and so she got the good looking guy because she had the had the purse and all that. I didn't get that at all from Talia Shire.
No.
So I really didn't get that at all from Talia Shire.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. She definitely was that was a little nepotism. Good nepotism. Good nepotism.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
So I mean, we kind of already talked about the TV connections. Anybody you relate to in the film? Like, let's talk about it, Joe. Say it.
Tom Hagen.
You are Tom Hagen. Joe is Tom Hagen.
Look, brother, the things I've done in the last 24 hours for people.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to do it, but
stop bothering Joe about stuff, guys. Let Joe live.
Hey, it's obviously, I'm 46. It's obviously what God has intended.
Hey man. Me and Spencer gonna do a Jay and Silent Bob. We're just gonna start knocking on people's doors and like, look. I appreciate that. I know Spencer's fed up. Like
he is very much so. But I'm saying that to say Tom Hagen, he handles business.
Yeah.
He gets things done.
Yeah.
Regardless of the task, he tries to keep people on task.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, as soon as I saw him, I mean, I the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, I love this guy, Tom Hagen. But I was a kid, and then, but I solved problems for people, in high school.
Yeah.
And so I'm blessed to still do it today. So Tom Hagen is somebody I definitely relate to.
Tom Hagen and the Wolf. Tom Hagen and the Wolf.
Yeah. You bringing the Wolf?
Yeah. That's all you had, Negro. That's all you had to say. Yeah, I'm as we already kind of talked about a lot, Sonny. I got a lot of Sonny. I fly off the handle. I get angry about things, and then later cooler heads prevail, and I get in our group meetings, and I'm always going off on somebody about something and not really having kind of half-cocked. I think about some things I said about one of our more I don't want to call them famous, but one of our more spotlight seeking brothers of our alma mater. Some of the things I said, and then some other people kind of chimed in like, "Oh no, now he's got some friends here and there, So I got a lot of Sonny.
I forgot that one. I have to ask you that one offline.
You come. Oh man, you'll know.
I think I have an idea about it.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But you come after my people. I'm not. I'm wartime. I'm that guy. I'm that guy.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the wartime consigliere after this, about the importance of what the wartime congliere is. After you keep. Please keep going. I apologize.
No. You're fine. I that's pretty much all I relate to in one.
Okay. Which is what we're talking about. Which is what we're talking about.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Keep me on track. Brother. Keep me on track.
Tom Hagen.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the wartime consigliere.
What did it mean when he said that? If I had a wartime consigliere, a Sicilian, I wouldn't be in this position. Pop had Jenko. Look what I got. Sonny to Tom in the middle of the Corleone to Talia War. What was that about? What did that mean to have a wartime consigliere in your mind?
So in my mind, it meant somebody that had a strategic plan about how to deal with someone who was problematic. I think that Tom was forward thinking. I think Tom was always thinking about the future, but he was thinking about the future in terms of like good times and in terms of like how to negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what he was saying was that like Jenko, and again from the book you understand a little bit more about Jenko and his role, but when balls are to the wall, he knew and had heard stories about how Jenko could could advise his pops into making decisions that led to a little bit less bloodshed, a little bit less, a little bit less mayhem. But with all of that being said, I think the line that the Godfather says later on was very poignant, in that Tom Hagen was not a bad consigliere. Sonny was a bad Don.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. So, I mean, he said that, yes. And I think that there is some truth to it. I think that Tom Hagen was a diplomat to a fault, to an extent, in that, Sonny's fiery. Sonny wants to deal with things in the way that Sonny's going to deal with them. And I think Tom brought a little bit too much of the peacefulness that he wasn't ready for. So I think that's
he wanted blood. He wanted blood.
He wanted blood in
the flesh.
All of that. All of that. So, that's my interpretation of it. How do you feel about it?
I think a wartime consigliere is very important. Just period. Full stop. Okay. Wartime consigliere.
Okay.
I think a wartime consigliere is somebody who's been in the trenches, who is ready to fight with you, on all fronts. Not just fight with you and for you. On an intellectual level, on a tactical level, but is willing to go back to back with you if you're fighting a mob of people, like a la Neo in the Matrix, fighting, fighting, just punching people left and right.
Or Washington Park if you need to get back to back.
Yeah, or Washington Park if you go back to back there. One time in 2006, early days of Facebook, and with us on Facebook, 2006, me and Bryce Adams, shout out to Bryce, we're fighting with these Howard alumni who were talking smack about Morehouse. They just love to pick on Morehouse. And me and Bryce were back to back, just fighting them off for like an hour and a half until people must have gotten off work, and we got reinforcements. And then I left, and I came back to the chat, and I was like, okay, we're good. The same thing happened in 2011 before the first Nations Classic. And me and Bryce were far more, we were ready with reinforcements at that time. We were more tactical, but I think a wartime consigliere is one who's either lived it or who's been around it, and is there to navigate, help you navigate through through that war, and your best moves in that war. So and I think it's important to have somebody that has some experience like that. So
vitally important. If you're gonna be fighting,
vitally.
If fighting is a part of your repertoire, and certainly in the mafia it is, you absolutely have to have somebody that has been in the trenches. So so that Joe, I think your interpretation of it is spot on.
So I think the reason it was important for Sonny is the reasons you mentioned. He needed. I'm cool on the bottom line, but I need to know, if I tell you, can I kill this guy? You're going to give me a couple reasons why I can, a couple reasons why I can't. I need to know that. Yeah. And Jinko Abendado, God bless him. I probably said it. Was played by the same man who played Frankie Carbone.
Yes.
Frank Severo in Two.
Yeah.
Two.
Into
much
more Jinko into than
but you have to watch the epic saga to see Jinko, because Jinko is, and Jinko says in The Godfather, in a deleted scene, he says, death is coming. I'm paraphrasing, but if you stand with me, I know he'll turn away, Godfather. That's how much he believed in it.
Yeah,
that's how much Jinko believed in Vito.
And Vito,
and Vito Anthony Corleone.
Vito.
Anthony Vito Corleone. Oh, okay, that's two again. Sorry, Senator Geary.
Hey, look, man.
But he believed in his Don that much.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you stand here, death is going to turn around.
Right.
Don, I believe in you, sir.
Yeah.
You can make death turn around. I said, brother.
Yeah.
That's what George Michael said. Faith.
Yeah.
There's two George Michaels. There's that George Michael and the George Michael Sports Machine. But
George Michael's show.
Oh, how could I forget George Michael Bluth? How can I forget George Michael Bluth? It's 3 George Michaels.
But shout out to the Sports Machine also.
You didn't think that was coming in today. You didn't think I was coming up with Sports Machine.
Hey, man, there's no other podcast is talking about.
I'm George Michael, and this is Sports Machine.
3 George, no other podcast, I guarantee you, is talking about the three George Michaels.
Let me go. Preacher, there are things that I don't want to learn. Oh, when you get older and you figure out more about, well, lyrics become relatable in different times. But so that's what's the flavor. Oh, that's the flavor. That was a Goodfellas line. Oh, the flavor. Oh, don't put too much onions in the sauce, Paul.
While he's steady putting too many onions in.
I didn't put too much onions in the sauce, Paul. Okay.
Yeah, always put too many onions in the sauce.
Yeah, he obviously has been like, I've been eating this food from you for years. Okay, so I know what you do. So I'm gonna stop you now. Yeah. But yeah, for me, that's what a wartime consigliere is. So
okay.
Where does this rank for you?
Number one. Okay, actually, no, I'm lying.
It's a top spot, kid. It's a top spot.
I'm lying, Joe. I'm lying. Because I'm a 2 guy.
Why are you lying?
I'm a 2 guy. I'm a 2 guy. I'm a 2 guy.
We can't. Okay, we can't. It keeps creeping. We can't talk about it.
Well, we're going to talk about it, but we are going to talk about it.
We are. But it is impossible to me. It is impossible to talk about The Godfather without talking about Godfather Part 2, without talking about the book.
Yeah,
you cannot. Sure. And there was even like a sequel book written that I read half of that had a wild Fredo scenario. Yeah. Did you finish this? Did you read that? I read half of it.
I dabbled in it. Yeah, and Fredo was living his best life, as it were.
He was. Which I don't know if I can believe that or not. Oh, we forgot a great line. Pulling a Fredo. He's banging cocktail waitresses two at a time.
Right? Hey, let's talk about Mo Green real quick. Let's talk about Mo Green.
I was trying to do the math today. Go ahead. I was trying to do the math in my head of Benny Siegel and Mo Green, Mo Green is clearly Bugsy.
Yeah. And again, to our earlier point about 2 and 1 and trying to, like, you can't, the DNA are wrapped so closely together. When Hyman and Ross talking about, like, this man had an idea about going to a desert town and turning that desert town into, and that man was Mo Green.
I didn't ask. But in actuality, Meyer Lansky ordered the hit. I mean, which of course is fictitious. It's like Tarantino. Sure. This is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to tell history right now. Yeah. Hitler died in a movie theater.
In a movie theater,
It got shot 700 times in a movie theater.
Right. The Bear Jew and
the Bear Jew, yes.
Moskowitz, yeah.
yes.
But yeah, so Mo Green, man, he made his bones while he was dating cheerleaders. Mo Green was
Mo Green.
He was
I used to tell guys that all the time. Yeah. I'm Joe Carlos. I made my bones when you were dating cheerleaders, okay?
Yeah.
I would say when you wanted to date cheerleaders, I made my bones. You see, you ain't even made your bones.
Hey,
okay.
Man. Mo Green was, he's like, he was banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. I had to slap him around a little bit. He was Rick James.
He was Rick James before. He was. Little, I'm sure Chappelle knew that, but then later in Swingers, they go to Vegas. He says, "I'm gonna find a cocktail waitress and pull a Fredo."
Yeah. It's good. I mean, Fredo was,
and we get it.
He was living his best life, man.
Oh, Fredo enjoyed Vegas. I mean,
man.
It makes me think of the song "I Love Vegas" by Dean Martin. The live version of Rat Pack Live at the Sands, or you can hear it in the Whitecaps. But
I can't hear it in Whitecaps. So
direct
from the bar.
Direct from the bar. Mr. Dean Martin.
Yeah, man, I love it. There's a Dean Martin collection. It's the silver, it's a silver case. Have you seen that one?
No,
it's 3 discs. 2 discs of like the greatest hits of Dean Martin, and the other one is live at Lake Tahoe. And
Okay, I gotta see.
It is.
I gotta listen to that.
It is incredible. You should. I think you can probably find it on Spotify or title. But at any rate, yeah, Mo Green, man. Like, and then the Mo Green special, like, getting shot through the eye. Which again, The Sopranos. Like,
Yep.
Mo Green was a tough son of a bitch, man. I really wanted more Mo Green in my life in the movie, man.
So it's clear he's Bugsy.
Yeah.
It's the 40s.
Yeah.
It kind of lines up.
Yeah.
And so that's that. That's all I'm gonna say. That's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bugsy got shot to the eye.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Ben Siegel got shot to the eye.
Yeah.
So
you buy me out, no, I buy you out.
I buy you out. I talked to Barzini.
All right.
The way he said it is clearly a redub. When he says it, and you watch it, it's like his mouth is moving, and then you hear the
yeah.
I talk to Barzini.
Yeah.
I can make a deal with him and still keep my casino for now. I'm sure you can.
Right.
Don Barzini, who was also in Ocean's 11, which is so it's hard for me like later to the original. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Tony. He played Tony Bergdorf in Ocean's 11, who dies in the street in the middle of Las Vegas Boulevard, and he messes up the whole thing when he dies. I gotta see the original Oceans again. I have. They're all. It's on HBO Max. Okay. Well, actually, it's not. They have the 11, 12, 13, and 8 on HBO Max right now. So they have the Soderberghs HBO Max, but it's been on like Prime throughout the. It was on Prime in the.
I'm sure I'll find it. I need to. Yeah. That's. I'm not gonna say it's a gap because I've seen it, but it's been on. Yeah, it's a farcical. It's a fun little thing. Yeah. It's one for us. Yes, it is. It is. So Joe, where does it rank for you, man? Like, Oh, it's favorite gangster. It's number 2. It's like you. It's number 2. I mean, because number 2. You're a 2 guy too. I didn't know that, Joe. I don't think I knew. Yeah, that. I'm a 2 guy. I'm a 1 guy. I'm a 2 guy. Look, I mean, look, people get really upset when you say you're a 2 guy over a 1 guy. If they're it's low in theory. It's Midnight Marauders. Right. Are you a college dropout? Are you My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? Are you graduating? It's no slight to the movie itself. This is still a fantastic movie. 1 and 2 are literally 1 and 2 for me. It just so happens that it's 2 and 1. You know what I mean? Like, you house in the party. Like yeah. Yeah, in no relation whatsoever to the original and the sequel, to those 2 films, or 3, nor 3. Man, 2 is number 1 for me. So this is number 2. Yeah. In films, period, for me. Yeah. Not favorite, just I think the best. And then 3 for me is like Citizen Kane. Okay. And I can dig it. And then 4 for me is probably like Hannah and Her Sisters. I just love that movie. But never seen it. You're okay. You're doing all right. I think you would enjoy it. The intellectual in you, I think you would enjoy it. I know it. I'm just gonna leave that as a comment. As a RZA just said. I can't remember. Thank you. Yeah. I've never not enjoyed a Woody Allen movie, so I'm sure I would enjoy Hannah and Her Sisters. I haven't seen it. So yeah, it's not like I gotta see Hannah and Her Sisters today. I feel kind of bad because I've seen Vicky Cristina Barcelona and haven't seen that. So it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's good. It's much more beautiful people in Vicky Cristina Barcelona than in Hannah and Her Sisters. Let's be honest, than in Hannah and Her Sisters. So I get it. Yeah, believe me. Fair enough. I get it. Fair enough. But I did enjoy VCB. VCB was very good film. Very enjoyable film. Yeah, for sure. That's when I first understood. That's when I was like, I get it now. Penelope Cruz. I get it now because I never seen any of the Pedro movies. I think I saw like one of the Pedro films, but I still didn't. I didn't get it. But when I saw VCB, I was like, yeah, that's what this is about. Yeah. Now I get it. Now I understand. Okay. All right. No, Joe. Okay. So give the people some bad news.
Bad news. Well, it's not bad news.
Okay.
People need breaks.
Okay.
Brother, what are you saying?
We've been going hard.
And bamboozled. Brothers got, crew got problem. No. But,
I love it.
but hey, it's spring break in Atlanta. It is June in January. Oh, I love this band. Because we're in love. No, because we're in love. No, so it's spring break in Atlanta. And I am going with my family on vacances. And
on holiday. You're going on
holiday. On holiday, yeah. And it is not conducive to a quiet time to record a podcast. I'm just be honest. There will not be a time to do that.
And I also will be taking a little sojourn. I'll be
a brief respite.
I'll be going cross country myself. So I'm going up country.
We're announcing it. Going up a country. My brother was once in a bar. And he heard that song. He's like, "Oh, that sounds great. That sounds like really." He's like, "Man, the sound system's amazing." And he looks up and it's them playing the song.
Wow.
He was blown away. He was blown away. He's like, oh, "What? Going up country? They're really here." But yeah. So speaking of which, I've been watching Sideways.
It might be.
I'm watching Sideways. I'm halfway through so many movies. I don't know about y'all out there listening right now. I don't know. The pandemic is like you'll pick something up. So I've got 2 episodes left of Veep. Of course, I've seen it. I've binged it 3 times. But I've got 2 episodes left of Veep, and like there's the 2 crucial episodes left of Veep.
I've never seen episode 1. That one, and I'm watching Arrested Development right now. Julie Louis-Dreyfus has a little turn.
Yeah, she has a turn. But I tried to get back into it when they brought it back. I just couldn't do it. Yeah. So I'm a seasons 1 through 3 guy.
Okay.
Like I've binged 1 through 3.
That's fair. That's
probably 3 times.
That's probably all you really need.
Probably 3 times. And I try. I was like, I've moved on, or it's moved on, or it's inspired so many other things that they're doing a little better now. Yeah. But I want to tell you this though. So what we're saying is there's not going to be an episode next week, which gives you time to go back.
Listen to some of our old work.
Find some of those faves. Get back in there. And
listen to House Party again.
Yeah, listen to the Best Man again. Listen to A Christmas Story. Yeah. I sound like one of those people on PBS. If these are the shows you love.
Right. Our episodes about music.
So yeah, please do that. And you know what, we're due for a couple more of those because there's some great springtime music. And I want to talk about springtime music in college.
Okay.
The albums that came out in certain spring, because, and the reason I'm saying is because, and I'm going to say this here. So 20 years ago today, actually, we released an April Fool's issue.
Talk about this, please.
Of the Maroon Tiger called the Maroon Tiger. And the Maroon Tiger is a student newspaper at Morehouse. We released the Maroon Tiger.
The Organ of Student Expression.
The Organ of Student Expression, founded in 1898 as the Athenaeum, and later named the Maroon Tiger. But we were on staff 2000, 2001. Yes. Calvin was the sports editor. I was the features editor. Yes. And we were both contributors to the Maroon Tiger. To this day, the most innovative issue of that 123-year-old newspaper ever.
Totally.
And admission here, I found it. I said, "Oh, so Quentin Johnson, shout out to Q. Q had he had like a copy or 2 at his mother's house. Yeah. And he sent me a copy. So I have like a copy in color. He sent me a bunch of copies of stuff.
I got a milk crate of every single episode, every single issue back to the back, right here.
I need to scan the power issue, which, I mean, not the power issue, but the Hall of Fame. Yeah. I mean, not the Hall of Men of the Year, which you are there. You were in the
I was on
the establishment. You're there twice. You were in the original Men of the Year issue twice.
Am I in the establishment?
I thought you were.
I don't think I am. I don't know why. I thought you were.
I
think Anthony Davis probably kept me from. Let me
Anthony Davis had nothing to do with that. Yeah, he had nothing to do with that. But that's all I'm going to say on that. Forrest Gump. He had nothing to do with that. Shout out to AD. Yeah, shout out to AD.
A good brother, man.
Shout out to AD.
It's all jokes. I'm joking. This has to do with an election.
We made it more than it was. Okay, yeah. I still voted for B, but what I was going to say was that so I saw it and I said, oh, I'm going to post this, right? Because I run Morehouse on social media, so I said, I'm going to post this. And I said, you know what? I'll wait. Let me wait, because if I post it early, maybe the current Maroon Tiger might have time to come up with an April Fool's issue. So I didn't post it until April Fool's, and they got slapped across the face because they tried to do a fledgling 20 questions a day or two.
Talk about that.
I mean, and I'm sure that some of them were funny, but someone was like, "What are you guys doing?" But I appreciate the effort to try something that harkens back. I appreciate the effort of trying something.
If I could do the conceited face, I would be doing it right now.
I feel you. But April Fool's issue called The Maroon Tigger. I'm proud that we have 2 contributors that are here on that. And it's
so much thought and effort went into that.
And we were so quiet. Quiet about it.
Yes.
And so proud of that. 20 years, good gosh. So I was thinking of music. So as I was posting it, I was trying to think of music that I listened to back then. And I couldn't think of what I was listening to spring '01. And I was like, what were the albums of the spring of '01? And that's like your senior year. So I think it's like, I think it was like Nas, Shadi, Show Me, what is it?
Yeah. Oh gosh. That was a really bad time music.
It wasn't like the best.
You owe me.
Owe me. But it was the fall was great. The spring was iffy.
Well, the spring had to happen so that Jay-Z could clap back real hard in the fall.
Thank gosh. Or H to the Izzo, Rule the Summer. But I couldn't play that. So I went with Shine by Lil Wayne, which we played a lot.
I listened to it in San Francisco at the airport on repeat. And I have a city, New Manny,
Louisiana. Yes.
Make a dome your home.
If you can afford it. Make a dome your home if you can afford it. So I'd love to talk about spring, the music that came out when you were in college. Now, for me, I was in college for a very long time. So I would pick specific years, or we could just do the 4 years you were in college, which is fine.
I spent a lot of time. I've spent more time in medical school than most. So
we can throw it all. Well, true, but let's just go undergrad. I mean, undergrad. I think it's
fair enough.
Because although medical school works too, because you have this time and you have these resources with which to procure these things. But when you were in medical school, there was no buying of music. Well, there was buying of music. Excuse me, you were buying music. I found LimeWire. I moved.
Let's go with that. Yeah,
I moved in with the young guys, and they taught me about all these.
I didn't have truncated versions of certain Field Mob songs on my computer, thanks to Jeff Jones. With the hook playing over and over again.
Okay, so we all had the same downloaded version of NSYNC's "Gone."
Oh, yes.
And when it was ripped, someone's AOL IM, that distinctive comes up. Yeah. I could go up to the 3rd floor of my house right now, get my external hard drive, and play that song and play "Gone." My burned "Gone," by the way, my original MP3.
Yeah.
From 2001 or 2002.
Yeah.
And it had a bloop, in the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And every person I knew that played the song, it was there.
Had that, yeah.
But when I finally listened to it on a CD, like if you stream it, it's not there.
Yeah. But if
we all had the
Morehouse version of it, the Morehouse T1 version,
they were all in the same MP3.
Remember how you could just go to somebody's like hard drive, like they just have it there, and like some dudes would have some Fruity Loop song that they had made. I remember somebody.
Yeah. All kind of things. I mean, just all kind of things.
Things you didn't want to see.
Yeah, but so my freshman year at Howard, let's just talk about the spring. I don't even want to get into the fall of my freshman year at Howard was. we've had a show about two of the albums actually.
Yeah.
Midnight Marauders,
Yeah,
and
then,
into
the 36.
the 36 Chamber, Into the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers.
Yeah.
Not to mention Balloon Mind State, not to mention Far Side, not to mention, of course, Doggy Style.
Yeah.
Dyer the Mad Band.
What a 12 to be alive.
12 Play.
Yeah.
That's all in the fall.
I resubscribed.
You resubscribed to what?
I resubscribed to a certain Robert Kelly. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just stating facts. I'm just stating facts at this.
Don't cancel me, Kate. Don't cancel me. My other spelling nights.
But in the spring, then we had Illmatic.
Yeah. Oh man.
And that like defined what Illmatic and Spring '94 was. Illmatic and Southern Playlist to Cadillac Music.
Yeah.
And then the Above the Rim soundtrack, which is a huge soundtrack.
Huge.
Okay, huge soundtrack at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Those three alone, like those three right there,
yeah.
Very big deal in my life. Okay, so if I look at like, and then if you look at those springtime, because you're looking for the spring bangers, not even the summer bangers. I'm talking the spring bangers. Like we're getting out of winter.
Yeah.
Okay, looking for the spring bangers.
But I was trying to think of the senior party, like know. It's
I was trying to think of that in 2000. We started the year with
Cash Money.
We definitely had Cash Money, but we started the year with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Hey, Volume 3. So it
I bought an iceberg shit. She thought I knew Snoopy.
Yes.
Shout out to Raj.
Shout out to Raj. Yeah, he did have some iceberg. Shout out to all the DDTPs, this, that, the world. Oh gosh, all those variations of gray they wore. Who you got in the verses?
Which one? The SWV and the Escape, or the EWF and EWF and Isaac?
The Isaac Brothers. Yeah.
Man, it's so hard. It's so hard. I got us winning. I got Humanity winning.
Humanity will win.
I probably got the Isaacs, man. All right.
Yeah, I'm going Isaac Brothers as well. But I just did because I'm going Isaac Brothers. I just did like a quick title. Let play the most played songs. Yeah. I was like, IDWF.
We're Morehouse men. We got In the Stone. Like,
yeah.
I indelibly in my memories, Mahogany Emotion, In the Stone, and
hey, let's do it.
It's hard. It's hard. It's tough. It's tough. It's a tough decision. I'm still going Isaac Brothers. I'm still going Isaac Brothers. Yeah.
Whom I've seen live 3 times in my life. 4 times in my life. Oh yeah, 4 times in my life.
I have the live album by them.
I listened to that. That's currently in my title right now. Let me say. I want to tell a real quick story.
We got Magic and Cookie here, and
Cookie and Magic Johnson. Don't change.
Don't change.
So you get to college.
Uh-huh.
You went to a summer program, so you kind of had a primer.
Yeah.
You've been in the dorm. You listen to your music. You do your thing.
Yeah.
And that summer you had the Wu-Tang double CD. So you really didn't have to go to school at all. Because all you needed. Yeah, that's all you education you needed. I'll believe that as a comment. I think that was on Triumph when he says it. No, that's Bells of War.
Hey, slept on.
No one talks about that song. No one talks about that song. By the way,
man, it's just
it was too much. It was 20 tracks. Oh God, what are they doing? 20-something tracks.
Oh,
anyway, all of it. And then the first single is from the second CD.
Yeah.
So brother, like, huh? What? Right. So anyway, I was saying, I forgot my train of thought. I forgot my train of thought, but it was. So
reunited. WLB, World Excited. Okay, I'm sorry.
I got to. Do you think I got to Howard? And there were only so many acceptable music that people could play loud because we didn't know each other yet, and you weren't confident. You weren't confident yet to play what you wanted to play. Right?
You were establishing yourself as who you were by your
music.
Yeah.
So there were instant albums that everybody could play.
Right.
One was you could play One Last Cry, Brian McKnight. And the reason I'm at Drew Hall, because everybody had somebody fictionalized or not, that they were missing.
Yeah.
And One Last Cry could be you're missing home, you're missing a significant other, you're missing a time, you're trying to adapt. So One Last Cry was played a lot, and universal.
Yeah.
The other was anything by the Isley Brothers. And it was the Isley Brothers' greatest hits.
Yeah.
And everybody, it seemed to be everywhere. So much so that it was sold out at Nobody Beats the Wiz. So I walked, there was an independent record store down Georgia Avenue. I walked down to that store. You just have to have music, right?
Yeah.
And what I got was the Isley Brothers live, where it starts with the Isley Brothers, here we go again.
Yeah,
it starts with that. Yeah, right.
You get some shout. Oh man.
Yeah, we're gonna do them all tonight. And so everybody's so my friends are laughing at me.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, that's fine. But I got this live version in my head. So I got variations. Yeah. Everybody else is doing it straight from the song. I got like arrangements and variations in my head. And it ended up being a great, all I need. And it ended up being a great, it ended up being it's a great primer. Yeah. Okay. So eventually it came back in stock. I got my CD. I got my greatest hits. Yeah. Fine. And then I got another thing like, I don't want great. I'm gonna buy the albums.
Yeah.
I don't need the greatest hits. Let's hear the album. Let's hear it's good deep cuts. So then I'll never forget Best Buy. I met Best Buy in Dallas off 635 Expressway. And I'm looking for an Isley Brothers CD. And the guy says, well, we're out of that one. Whatever one I wanted, he's like, we're out of that one. But it was another live CD from the 70s. He said, but I'm gonna suggest this one.
Okay.
And it was Beautiful Ballads.
Oh, yeah. Incredible.
Changed my life.
Incredible.
Just absolutely changed my life.
Yeah.
Just strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah. There's
I remember Jordan wore it out. Had to go get another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he wore it out and skipped it up.
Yeah.
Don't let nobody skip your CD. Ooh, Jack. Go ahead. You were gonna say there's what? I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was just gonna say that, like, there's like a series of albums they released, like 3x3. Like they had, when the two Isley groups came together. Yeah. Like it's just and then like they were famous for the part 1 and part 2. And like really like when listening, you can't really distinguish part 1 and part 2. Like,
no.
Sensuality part 1 and part 2. I challenge someone to tell me where part 1 begins and where part 1 ends and part 2 begins. But they had all these songs that just were like deep album cuts, but they were still played on the Quiet Storm. Like in Atlanta, you have Joyce Littell gonna play like
Atlanta. Voyage to Atlantis was my wedding song. I posit, and I will not rest until I get some drone footage at night, going over Atlanta and playing Atlanta.
Well, there's a song. There actually is a hip hop song where they use that as a sample.
Really?
And it was an Atlanta song, and I swear to God, I guess. The only person
in my mind, he's saying Atlanta, come back to you. Like in my mind, I mean, he's got to be. He's saying it.
They did that in the song, the Atlanta song. I guess Will Humphreys might be the only person who might know about this. The great neurosurgeon, Will Humphreys.
The great Will Humphreys. Yes, yes.
He probably is the only person because I think it was a Decatur group that came out with it, but it was one of those Greg Street songs that they would play like
Got it.
Yeah. But
so in Dallas, there's a clothing company called By Way of Dallas. This guy named Hans Taplin, and he did he just makes all these Dallas inspired stuff. So he did this summer, he made this, or this winter, he made these hoodies that had this huge chenille Dallas patch on the back. And I have one, of course. And he also made my one of 200 Dallas Mavericks jacket. This is By Way of Dallas on the back. And the green satin. And
the one you wore to the All-Star game.
You know it. And so anyway, long story short, he had a commercial, like an ad on the Instagram page, which was like Dallas from its side. Mm-hmm. And so it's like you're flying up Dallas, but it was like Living for the City was playing. And I was like, this is what I wanted them to do. This is what I wanted them to do for Voyage to Atlantis. Like, and it could just be like, then it comes in Atlanta.
Always
always come back
to you.
I always do.
Yeah.
You're my lady
and
now.
you know,
forever.
Cast also sampled that for Royal Flush too.
Of course,
But,
of course.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I got the Isleys in a push. But again, the world's gonna benefit from this.
Who you got in the Final Four? Oh, shout out to Don Staley. Shout out to South Carolina today. Heartbreaking loss.
Yeah.
By the way, to Stanford. Very tough. You got to go hard to the rim. Go directly to the rim. Don't.
Yeah. Coach Ya summed my thoughts up pretty well when she says you can't miss those layups. So shout out to Coach Ya. Yaggles. Coach Ya.
You can't miss those layups.
Ya Walker Stanley.
They're called layups. They're layups for
a reason.
It's one of the first things you learn in basketball, other than dribbling.
Yeah. If y'all aren't following Coach Ya, you need to. She knows more about basketball than probably most of the guys I know. So,
but you have to go hard to the rim.
You got to go hard. You got to. Yeah. That's heartbreaking. And I'm a big Dawn Staley stan. Been a Dawn Staley stan for a long time.
Yeah, me too.
Going back
Tennessee.
Yeah. No, she.
Oh, she played in Tennessee.
No, she didn't play Tennessee. Dawn Staley played it. Nah, Dawn Staley played.
Okay, I apologize.
I'm 100% sure she didn't play it.
I believe you. I believe you.
I think she played at Virginia, but don't quote me on it. But she wasn't. Yeah,
I believe you.
But yeah, I tough loss for the men's Final Four. My bracket is destroyed.
She did play at Virginia under Debbie Ryan, and won the gold medal in '96.
Yeah, she was
from Philly, a Philly John.
Yeah, Philly John. That's right. My introduction to Philly Johns. Yeah, man. You know, when I was a young bull. So anyway,
a young bull.
Wow. Yeah, man. So I Michigan. I had Michigan winning it all, and tragically, UCLA upended them. I can't see anybody. I can't see anybody beating Gonzaga. So I got Gonzaga winning it all. I'd like to see Houston. I'd like to see our friend King Malachi Sims really enjoy that.
I had Houston in I had Houston and Baylor in the final. Houston and Baylor. I call that.
Okay, nice.
And I have Houston going to the final. I had Houston going
Southwest
to the final.
Conference.
Yeah, Southwest Conference, which makes Texas have to sit there like, what are we doing? But I got Houston losing to Georgetown, which obviously is not going to happen. But we'll see.
Okay,
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
One shining moment.
They call it a shot.
I'm so excited for one shining moment.
I'm so excited for Jim Nance. I can't wait. It's Jim Nance. This is his big week. He's got this, and he's got the Masters. This is
what he lives for.
His fortnight. This is his fortnight.
Yeah.
He designs clothes for Vineyard Vines too. This is tonight I'm wearing chocolate unicorns, which is designed chocolate unicorns Black History Month shirt, nice. Black Lives Matter shirt, designed by my classmate Asha Jennings Palmer and her husband Bryson Palmer. This is chocolate unicorns. Okay. Black History Month shirt that I am rocking today. Yes.
Nice.
That is what I'm wearing. That is what I'm wearing.
I got a vintage. You have so there's two editions of this shirt that Reese made.
Yeah.
It's washed and then it's washed with kids. This is the one I qualify for. So yeah.
You stay
Shout
that
out
way.
to Reese.
You stay that way. Shout out to Reese. You stay that way. Shout out to Reese.
But yeah, man. So Joe, buddy, enjoy your vacation, man. Enjoy
your vacation. Get some sun, brother. Get some sun.
Man,
get some sun. Get some beach.
I'm gonna be on the beach in Santa Monica, man.
And enjoy a little Tony, your nephew.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a few drinks with one Ronald Cache Falls. And,
FaceTime me, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, you know.
If y'all don't, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But
you gonna haunt us?
Yeah, I don't know what I really don't know what I'm gonna do. What can I do? What can I do?
You gonna give us some tainted happy juice at home?
No, no, that's not gonna happen. But
Nick, throw that brisket on the ground and then.
No, not that ground. Good gosh, I can start a whole pandemic. I can start a pandemic. Eating off that ground, boy.
Patient Zero was at Morehouse's homecoming.
Yes, I believe it.
Where the great griller Nick Kemp. Hey, shout out to Nick, man. Shout out to
Nick Kemp. Yeah,
man. All our famous grillers. If you haven't come to Morehouse Homecoming, man, we coming
Sorry
back
for you.
strong. We coming back
We
strong,
are.
man.
Sorry for you.
Hey,
Yeah. I hear tell of something called Jiho. I don't really know what that means. You know, Greensboro is a lovely town, but you know, I hear pray tell of that. I think it's important that we all love and support the traditions of our schools.
that's
So
it.
congrats. So shout out to A&T for Jiho.
Shout out to A&T.
FAM for their homecoming. The seven
TSU
highest hills.
does it pretty hard.
Oh yeah, I was getting there. Shout out to TSU. Shout out to Howard University. You don't really tailgate. You kind of sit in a parking lot, but shout out to that. That's an amazing experience. I can speak from experience on that. Shout out to Clark Atlanta University. Shout out to all, you know, Jack from the Sonic Boom of the South, Jackson State University.
Prime time.
The whole swag. Prime time.
Southern.
Southern, yeah. All of them, Southern, all of them. TSU, Texas Southern. When I say
we
TSU,
coming back strong, baby. We coming back strong.
We are coming back strong. Shout out to all the HBCUs and shout out to all the students who are also making a decision in April about where you're going to school. And if you've been accepted to Morehouse, there's really no decision to make.
Yeah,
the decision has already been made. Yeah.
PJ's choosing.
Okay.
My godson, PJ's choosing. He's choosing between LSU, Memphis.
Where is that?
And the house. And here.
Okay, well. Okay.
So
No pressure.
We'll see.
No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure. I don't want to give a shout out to my godson, James Christopher Love, who turns 3. James Christopher Love turns 3 on the 12th. So we won't have a show between now and then. But I'm gonna shout him out again. Our show on the 15th. I'll shout him out again on the 15th. But just wanted to give a shout out to my man, young James Christopher Love. You could call him JC, but he's really James. He's really James.
Yeah. Carve out his own little.
Yes. He's gonna have a very different experience with his curly locks than his father.
Maybe he can holler at his uncle Jared. See how to.
Yeah, curly locks and his green eyes. So it's a very different experience. I might have him on just my background for
he's got a lot of uncles out there that
a whole lot. He's gonna have so many cautionary tales. He will get it right. He has no choice but to get it right. Yes, indeed. All
right, Joe.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate it. We love you too. We did The Godfather.
We aged.
I forgot the score. Carmine Coppola, amazing score. Francis Ford Coppola, outstanding work. We didn't really get into the fights about the film and all that. You can look that stuff up. We talked about the beauty of the stuff that we saw on the film.
Kid Stays in the Pictures are good. You watch that.
It is one point of view. But there's books. There's
Francis Ford Coppola has a lot of. He has a lot of stuff out there about how he feels about it, and and we're not by any means done with The Godfather because we're going to talk about Godfather soon.
No, obviously not.
But yeah, man. So Joe, be safe out here, man. I'm glad you're vaccinated.
Everybody
get vaccinated.
Oh yeah, vaccinated. Yeah.
And we'll catch you the next time on the Open Task Podcast.